The Division 2 private beta happened over this past weekend, and somehow, someway, I got a code, so I was able to hop in and play a bit. Emphasis on a bit. Now to start things off, I want to say that I was not a big fan of the original Division. To me, the Division always felt like a game that I had been playing for the past 5 years or so. I love looter shooters, and spent plenty of time in Destiny 1 and 2, but the Division never had the same draw for me personally. I was hoping this would change with the Division 2. Sadly, it doesn't look like it will. But that's not to say that this is in any way a bad game. The Division 2 has a lot going on, and for fans of this game type, I think it'll be enjoyable. For starters, I like DC, a lot better than New York. Both locations are incredibly detailed and look amazing, but New York gets somewhat stale to me since I've spent many gaming hours exploring its streets through other titles. DC feels fresh. Sure, I have explored it before in games, but with the detail and nature-filled spin that the Division 2 puts on it, it feels fresh. There are even animals running throughout the streets. There still is quite a bit of running down streets, and alleys, and more streets. But the world still had me captivated seeing the rundown monuments and national buildings. The cover system still feels great and extremely tactical. Battlefield areas always have plenty of cover around, so you won't often find yourself standing out in the open. Unless of course you want to. Skills have also made a return, and like I said, I hadn't played the Division 1 except the beta and the first couple of hours of the main story, but the skills were feeling very similar. I used the Seeker drone ability, which was useful in combat when I was pinned down, and also the throwable turret that I could order who to shoot, but it would get destroyed rather quickly. I didn't play enough to really unlock more skills or level up the ones I had, but from the sliver I saw, they felt pretty generic to me. Then of course you have your obvious setup of the two bigger weapons accompanied by your pistol and a grenade to round out your loadout. My biggest issue with the gameplay loop of the original Division is that ultimately enemies are way too spongy for a military tactical shooter themed game. I get that it's that type of level tiered gameplay, but that concept works better on a Destiny or hell even an Anthem styled game. Big alien bosses make sense when they have a health bar that you can sit and roast on for a while, but when a riot gear guy takes over 50 magazines to kill, it gets a bit ridiculous. And that is a personal issue, of course. Many Division players don't mind at all, and I'm sure that the issue won't affect everybody. But for me, it's a big turn away and makes the gameplay feel, well, boring. For me, the Division 2 feels like it could have been an expansion for the original Division and just expanded on that game and world. Ubisoft having the Divisions and Ghost Recon Wildlands doesn't account for a lot of variety and new gameplay, something that, in 2019, I am looking for in games, as I don't have time to try everything out. Over the Division 2 beta, I found myself much more inclined to hop on Apex Legends than run through the streets of DC, and while I did play, I'd wish the gameplay loop had a fun factor like Anthem's demo for me. But sadly, it just wasn't there, and after getting kicked multiple times, I really just didn't want to contribute any more time to the beta, as it felt like more work than fun. Division fans will probably find a lot of fun with the Division 2, as all the details about what is included and the in-game stuff seems to be a heavy focus. But coming from the point of view from somebody who was very skeptical of the gameplay, it feels like much more of the same, and like an experience that doesn't have too much variety besides hide behind cover and shoot some baddies. But what are your thoughts on the beta? Did you get a chance to hop in over the weekend, and if so, what did you think? Let us know down below, and be sure to check back with COGconnected on release to get the full review for the Division 2.